Hey pals, you're listening to Heaving Bosom's Ask a Badass, the episode where we spotlight listeners to ask about their love of romance and all the other zany things y'all crave. Before we start, we've got a special treat for you. On Monday, April 13th, I'm joined by Katie Robert, author of Deep Feels and Scandalously Delicious Smut, to recap The Mummy. This is especially fortuitous because Katie has pushed up her release date of the next installment of her Wicked Villains series. Make sure you pre-order The Beast now because it comes out on April 13th as well. And now, we've got a woman of indomitable spirit, Aicha. She's a Harry Potter shipper who's also read everything Lisa Kleypas has ever written. A swearing mom who manages to be a superhero without caffeine, a lover of all tropes, and a person after my own heart, preferring her spice level at burn your face off. Here we go. Hi, Aicha.
Hi, Natalie.
I'm so excited for this. So HBs, I'm here with Aicha, and she is one of our UK HBs. So she is talking to me in the middle of the night.
Yes.
And I am thankful for her service. You should also be thankful for her service. Well, this is the first time I've recorded with somebody that's in a different continent. Everyone has been in Canada or the US. And so this is the first time we've had this, like time zone issue, which you're just like, no problem. I'll just do it in the middle of the night. I would not be nearly as nice as you if it was the reverse situation. I'd be like, no, work your schedule around me, okay? Because you have to get up and be a mom tomorrow, right?
Yes, I do. But I kind of, when I first said, oh yeah, I'll do the Ask About It, I kind of guessed that this is how it would be.
Yeah.
The time difference is quite extreme. I have a cousin who lives in Utah, and I think that's 10-hour time difference. I'm kind of used to kind of negotiating the time difference or whatever.
Having to figure that out.
Yeah. And I was looking through all the previous Ask About Asses, and I was like, I think I'm the first non-American one, but I wasn't sure.
You are. I mean, non-American. We did have some Canadians. So
North American.
North American. Yes, exactly. I think if we tried to call them Americans at this point, they would be disgusted and horrified.
They would riot. Yeah.
No one wants to be a part of this crazy ass election situation we're going on right now. So I completely understand.
Yeah.
We're here for a podcast though. Maybe I should
Let's talk about the podcast.
Things. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about romance.
Oh, my favorite.
You've been reading romance for a long time, yeah?
Yes, I have. Yeah. So basically, before I discovered that romance novels were a thing at 18, I used to love younger YA romance. I used to read a lot of that. Mm-hmm. And especially, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Meg Cabot. I was a huge fan of The Princess Diaries and all her various books. And then I discovered fan fiction, where I would honestly say is probably where I first read any sex scenes. But since I was reading Harry Potter fan fiction, most of them were written by 16, 17-year-olds I remember this one author I used to read, and she used to write sex scenes, and always the bottom in the author's note, she used to say, I'm sorry if my sex scenes aren't realistic, I'm actually a virgin. And then, and so...
Girl... Imagination is a miraculous place,
Yeah, and so that's where I think it started until I stumbled upon Twilight fan fiction, and then it was because it was mainly moms writing that. It was a lot more realistic.
Oh, right.
And I remember when I was 18, one of my best friends from university was she's a mature student, so she'd gone to work straight after school, then she'd come back 10 years later. She's 10 years older than me, and we became really close.
Which mad respect, because if I tried to go back to university right now, impossible. It would never work.
Did find it really, really tough because she was married, she had a little girl, she was working at the same time, and we just really gravitated towards each other. We had her niece was my sister's friend. So we kind of had that connection outside of university. We just became really, really close friends.
Yeah.
And I remember I went to her house and she had like this massive bookshelf full of romance novels. And I was like, what?
Excuse me.
What are these? I lost my mind. I was like, what are these things? And she was like, she was like not embarrassed. She was like so proud of it. And she was just like, oh, okay. And she'd been collecting for years. And she had, so the first one I read was generally considered one of the best romances of all time, Devil in Winter by Lisa Kleypas. Still. Yeah. So I started high. So she gave me, so I just went through her bookshelf and she was trying to talk to me and I was just like, I couldn't talk to anyone. I was like, you need to stop talking. Just leave me.
I am busy.
Leave me with your books. And the other one I chose was Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, the fourth in the Bridgerton series by Julia Quinn. And
have you read all of them now?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
And that was, so I don't know why I picked the third in a series and the fourth in a series. And I read them and I'd never read like historical Regency. None of it made sense to me. I didn't understand what was happening, but I got the sex scenes and I was all in. I was like, yeah, this is for me. I love this. And my friend had basically all of Lisa Kleypas's backlist, all of Julia Quinn's backlist, all of Mary Balog's, Judith McNaught, like these massive authors, most of them. And Eloisa James, she had like every book they'd ever written, novellas, everything. And I was for a 3-year degree, I did English literature. And I am so glad at the same time I was reading romance, because otherwise my degree would have killed my love of reading, because it was heavy. Some of the books we were told to read, I was just like, after like seminar sessions, we'd be like holding each other up after we did like post-colonial literature, and we were just like talking about slavery all the time. It used to be perfect to come home and just like read a romance novel. It was just a perfect type of escapism. And I've pretty much just been reading since then. Do
you read things other than romance right now?
Oh, yeah. I'd say romance is my favorite genre. It's what I love the most. And because I'm like just addicted to books in general, like if someone says, oh, that's a good book, whatever, if it's like book, it's a famous book's being adapted into a TV show, or it's hitting the bestseller list, I will tend to read it. But I just because I can't help myself. But generally, I just don't enjoy them as much as romance. And I'd say like, especially in the last year to 18 months, I just read romance more.
Other than like romance and reading, well, are your kids really big readers?
No, they're not. Well, I've got an 8-year-old and 5-year-old. So my 5-year-old's obviously, she just started properly reading in the last 6 to 8 months, I would say. And she does enjoy it. She enjoys being read to. And my 8-year-old, no, he's not that much. It's kind of, he has a Nintendo Switch. So I bribe him with that. I'm like, for every hour of reading you do, you can go on the Nintendo Switch for an hour. So
yeah.
Do you guys have...
I have one kid, that likes to read, and then another kid that is like, I mean, I'll sit here for a minute, I guess, but really it's not what I want to be doing.
I just can't believe I live in a world where my son is not a huge reader. I don't know where I failed, what's gone wrong. I don't know.
I feel like it's one of those things though too, where it's like the more you try to get a kid to read, you know what I mean? Like you just have to have the supplies available, and then the more you force it, the less they're gonna push away from it. You know what I mean?
When I was younger, I was like, my parents had to tear books out of my hands. It was just such an obsession for me. And my mum's like, I thought you'd grow out of it at one point. You're still the same. It's still like, is she reading or is she talking to us? It's like reading is still the most important thing in your life. And it's just so strange to me that, we didn't have books in my house growing up. Our mum used to take us to the library every Saturday, and it was like such a privilege. And I have so many books in the house. Like from the moment I found out I was pregnant with my son, it was just like, I just be constantly browsing for all the children's classics, what kind of good deals I could buy. And I think they just don't care. They're just there, and he's just like, yeah.
Well, and it's like different things are good for different people. You know what I mean? Like that's, I don't know. I think my son Thomas is not very much of a reader. He doesn't mind when you read him books, but it's just more. But yeah, Ruby is definitely a very, very much of a reader and wants to read books all the time. We're reading the Princess in Black. There it is.
Okay.
And it's a princess who is also a ninja.
Very nice.
And this one is about a science fair, and it has been very exciting. She has really liked it. This is the first book that she has been able to kind of read all on her own, and she hasn't really needed help, so it's very fun for her, for
that's
sure.
really sweet. I'm reading The Worst Witch to my daughter, and I'm not sure like how popular that they are in America. They're quite famous here because there was a really big TV series when we were growing up as well, like an adaptation of them. So I'm reading these to my daughter because I never read them growing up, and I'm like, this lady should sue J.K. Rowling because the books were written at the 70s and 80s. I'm like, she has literally just ripped her off. And I don't understand why it's not a bigger thing, because it's not like the Worst Witch books are like this niche cult thing. They're pretty famous books.
Yeah.
And it's just the way that JK has kind of completely... There's so many similarities. I could not believe it. I was like, what?
And it takes until you read them when you're older for you to be like, wait.
What's happening here?
I meant to ask you, what was your Harry Potter fanfic ship that you were hoping for?
That was hoping for. Oh no, I'm really basic. I want, canon. Whatever the author says, I'm there for it.
Oh, okay. You just want canon, but with the sex, or like with the.
You got me. Yeah, that kind of sums me up in a sentence. But what I used to really enjoy reading was when I first started reading fan fiction. It was, I used to love reading Harry's parents. They used to be, especially after book 5, people were really like, what's happening with, how did Lily and James Potter get together? And, because of that flashback scene in Order of the Phoenix. And so I used to love reading those. I've always been a big fan of time travel. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan. If there's a movie or TV show with time travel, I am there. They never make any sense. I love dissecting and being like, plot hole, plot hole, plot hole, plot hole, plot hole. That's the type of person I am. I can never just unthinkingly consume a TV show, a book, or whatever. I'll be just like, rip it to shreds. And my husband will be like, oh, so you didn't like it? He's like, no, I loved it. It was shit. It was amazing, but these are the problems. But that's just how I enjoy things. And so, there were loads of like time travel ones, like Harry is dead, Harry never existed, and it just, I used to love time travel ones. And there used to be loads of like teacher student ones, and thankfully I hated them then and I hate them in my romance now. That has never been my thing. And there was always, obviously, I'll be honest, since I started reading romance properly, I kind of left fan fiction. I don't read it anymore. But people used to love the kind of Malfoy and Ginny, or Malfoy and Hermione.
Yeah. Oh, Malfoy and Ginny. That is opening up vistas inside of my brain. Right now.
I think it was just it's kind of like that, that famous trope, enemies to lovers, or Romeo and Juliet. Is kind of people just fitting their own trope, tropes onto it and kind of forcing it,
You know which character never gets brought up and never has... Well, I'm sorry. Someone's probably written a ship somewhere. It's Hannah Abbott. That poor Hufflepuff. She just has gotten a lack of attention. And she was part of Gryffindor's army. She's there. She's down to pound. Like, she needs someone to write a ship, like a fanfic.
I am sure there is one. There has got to be one.
There has to be. Because my brain is not unique. Someone else is like, you know what? Hannah Abbott can get it. And here's why.
So Hannah Abbott was a Hufflepuff. And I think there was a stage show a couple of years ago called Puff. And it was basically the Harry Potter novels from the point of view of Hufflepuffs. And I imagine they were just going, what the fuck? Throughout the 7 years? Like, fucking Harry Potter and his Gryffindor friends. Bringing the apocalypse down their heads again. And I never, I think you can buy it on iTunes or something, or it might be on YouTube, but I remember at the time being like, oh, that is a genius idea. I'm sure there'll be more stuff like that. As I've grown old, I used to be a huge Harry Potter fan, and I think JK said problematic things, and kind of your love sours, and I moved away from it. But one thing she did do was she created enough of a universe that so many people, like millions and millions of people, feel so comfortable just playing in, and just kind of she created enough parameters that you can go crazy, and And I think that's one of the geniuses of the world, is that you could have inserted yourself in.
I think HB Caitlin and I talked about this, where it's like once an author writes something and puts it out into the world, like it's not theirs anymore. No. You know what I mean? So like, sorry, JK, you suck as a human being, but this is still ours and we get to enjoy it.
I think she's one of the worst, or maybe she's the most famous one of kind of like that George Lucas problem. You cannot stop tinkering with it. It's constant retconning. It's constantly like, no, but this is what I meant. And, each time it's like diminishing returns. And have you read his Dark Materials, like Northern Lights, by Philip Pullman?
I haven't. I have not.
So they're fantastic.
I think, is that Golden Compass?
The Golden Compass, yeah.
Yeah, I've read the first one. I haven't read anything after that.
So obviously they were like huge YA fantasy books. And I followed the author, Philip Pullman, on Twitter. And he is fantastic because he has people asking him all the time about, really weird questions, obscure questions of what's happening. How did this happen? Explain the rules of the world a bit more to us. How does the magic work? And he'll just be like, it's up to you. You decide. I've written my story. The story is told. You go forth. And, I just think that's so amazing. It's kind of, because they're both fantasy. I mean, his the Dark Materials books are all fantasy. Harry Potter's all fantasy. They were written around about the same time. Yeah. But it's just this complete different view of the death of the author is kind of, one author just cannot stop being like, inserting herself in, and one is like, it's your world, go for it, say what you want,
make it whatever you want it to
whatever you want it to be. And I like that. I prefer that, I think.
Can we talk about some stuff that you're passionate about? Because you're obviously passionate about reading, and I love that.
Oh my God, I love reading.
I'm also passionate about reading. But what else is going on?
Oh God, I don't know. Like I said, I'm a huge I cook a lot, I bake a lot. Those are the two things. We recently moved house. It's a much bigger house, and I host a lot. So I love having people over for food, and I just spend like the 2 days beforehand cooking, and sometimes it's like 2 days afterwards, just cleaning and eating leftovers.
Cleaning up,
yeah. So that's like a huge thing in my life at the moment is hosting. It's kind of, I feel like it's what I was born to do. I love it so much.
It is one of my favorite things as well, is making food for people and like watching them.
Oh my God, I love that so much. It just brings me such joy, especially when someone will be like, this is like the nicest whatever I've had. Or especially if they bring kids round, and then I'll be like, okay, what type of food do your kids eat? Trust me, I've got this. And then the kids will eat the food, and sometimes people will bring like food for their kids, and they'll eat what I make instead. Like, oh my God, she's never eaten a curry before. She's never eaten a soup before. And I was like, I know. I know. You want this recipe, don't you?
You doubted me.
Yeah.
I know. And kids are the absolute flipping worst, aren't they? Like, sometimes they're the best, but also they're mostly the worst.
When it comes to eating and food,
Well, I think like my kids, they're automatically going to say no to something new. That's like the number one problem that we have, is like their first response when there's a new food or not necessarily a new experience, because they're pretty good about new experiences, but definitely new food. It's like, nah, I'm good, thanks. And that's such a bummer, because literally like there is, if it doesn't have mayonnaise in it, and even sometimes if it has mayonnaise in it, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to at least try it, but I'm most likely going to enjoy it. You know what I mean? So it's always such a bummer for me when my kids like won't try anything. Like I bake things all the time, and my kids hardly ever eat.
No, really?
It is true. Like, even like sometimes it'll just be chocolate chip cookies, and my kids will be like, "No, thank you."
But why?
I don't know. They're just weirdos. They're just big old weirdos.
They don't know
like,
how lucky they are. I think because
I make homemade banana bread almost every week, or coffee cake, and they will never, not ever. It's like I have to just not get worried about it, because I'm like, the harder you try, Natalie, the more they're going to be like, no, it's poison.
They don't know how lucky they are. Like that's like so many kids' dreams growing up is having like home baked goods in the house. And you know, I was like a child of immigrants growing up, and obviously like growing up, it was different for me than all the kids around me, because obviously my parents didn't speak the language that well. They worked constantly. We weren't that well off. And so you like know there's a distance between you, and a lot of time, especially food, you don't know what the fuck they're talking about. What are these meals they're talking about? And a lot of it I picked up through, honestly, just pop culture, through books. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know what macaroni and cheese was. I was like, what is this? It's like you kind of learn to bluff your way through certain things. And that's why it wasn't the reason I love books. I feel like it helped me fit in more than anything. I have to be honest, like being the biggest book nerd, I was so lucky. I was never made fun of it or anything like that. It's especially baked goods. We never had any of that. My mum used to make a lot of Asian desserts, Pakistani desserts. Okay. We never even shop bought like, other desserts or anything like that. So for me, baking is still like Brave New World. It's still, some of the things. I was like, cinnamon goes in desserts, in sweet things. Cinnamon isn't just like in my meat rice. And just like some of the things that were discovered is just blows my mind. It's just kind of like, I want my kids to have the childhood I didn't have. And they are so resentful. They want the childhood I had. I know. they're like, why don't you speak Punjabi to us? Why do you speak English to us? I'm like, what? Why don't you make the foods grandma makes? We don't like this food.
Yeah. It's always like that, isn't it? It's like my kids are always wanting me to buy all the processed, like, Mom, we haven't bought Pop-Tarts in a while. Mom, we haven't bought this in a while. And whenever we're at the grocery store, or this person at school brings this for lunch, and it's always like Lunchables or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but like you're getting the same thing, but real food. Like, I'm sending you a fucking croissant, okay?
I made this from scratch all night.
Okay. I didn't make the croissant. Let's be real honest. I bought the croissant, but it's still, you're going to pick a Lunchable over a croissant.
This is French.
Yes. Yeah. I have not succeeded at croissants. As much as I love eating croissants, they are my favorite carb. They are my favorite baked good. I have not succeeded. I think it's the chilling. I think I need to be more patient, which is like a story of my whole life, but
I've seen a few videos of how to make croissants, and it's above my level. I don't think I'll be able to get to that level. They look difficult. They look tough. Yeah.
It's just, I don't know if they're very hard, or it's just that they're just time consuming. You're spending half your day. Making one thing. And my mom makes sourdough croissants, and she does them overnight. And so she does a lot of her proving overnight, and then so she breaks it up into 2 days, which, hey, there you go. You know what I mean? Then you can, but you're still spending 2 days making something.
That's like the kind of thrill sometimes for me of baking or cooking is when you make something for the first time. You don't know what it's going to turn out like, so you spent all this money on ingredients, all your time, and it could be a piece of shit afterwards. Yeah. And you're just like, you don't know. You could just go straight in the bin, and you're just like, okay, take out now. We don't have time to cook anything else.
Exactly. I've sunk all of my eggs, literal eggs, into this basket, and I don't have any more eggs. So you know what? We're ordering pizza.
Yeah. Bin that. Yeah.
Can we talk about swearing?
Oh, I love swearing. Yeah.
Me too. I really do. And I don't know. I mean, I think I loved swearing before I had kids, but I love swearing more now that I have kids.
Do you swear in front of your kids?
No, I do not.
Do you not know?
I mean, not on purpose. Yeah. Sometimes it happens, but I swear a lot outside of my kids.
Yeah.
And then I modify things. I don't know if you listened to the episode where I discussed the term Jeezy Pete's as an alternative swear word. You can use that in place of a lot of swear words. But I try not to, just because we have very conservative grandparents that are around our kids a lot, that my daughter used the term Jesus in front of grandma the other day. It didn't go over very well. And that one I was probably guilty. That was probably me.
See, I don't know. I suppose I don't consider that a swear word, but
me either, obviously.
No, I've always been like a potty mouth, but that's it. I have really religious, conservative parents growing up, so it's never in front of my parents. And then I've just managed to hide it from my kids as well because I'm used to it. But oh my God, I love swearing so much.
It really just lets the steam out. You know what I mean? It just, I don't know. I just find it really is part of my vocab, and I just really appreciate it. And I also thought that was a funny thing that both of us had in common.
Well, I hear a lot of people say, well, swearing isn't ladylike. And I'm just in my mind, I'm like,
that.
You're not my people. I never say, in fact, I'm like, you're not my people. I'm just, I hear that a lot because I do have a potty mouth. I do hear that a lot. And I think people are always surprised at how much I swear. But it is, when someone says that, I know I'm kind of like, okay, well.
Okay. Cross them off the list.
Yeah.
They don't get a fucking holiday card, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things, like, I think that also challenges the concept of ladylike, because what is a lady? You know what I mean? Really?
Well, yeah. I think that some of these things are just like internal misogyny. We have to unlearn, I think, which is something I've been really conscious of. And I hate it when people try to, when people say that's not ladylike or that's not really, I'm like, well, what is your internal assumptions about what is ladylike? Because it's generally very oppressive. So,
yeah, absolutely. Are you ready for a lightning round?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
All right. Well, break it in slow with an easy one.
Okay.
What is your favorite carb?
Okay. So
maybe it's not easy.
you asked this like most Ask a Badasses.
Yes.
And I'm always just like, all of them, I don't think I've come across a carb I don't like. I've heard all the answers and I'm just like, yes. Yeah. I think the one thing I can't live without is rice. I do love me some rice, like in any form. Wholemeal rice, boiled rice, fried rice, in this form and that form. I don't like rice from like a packet, but when you make it yourself at home, I love me some rice.
I think I know the answer to this one because England. But are you a coffee person or a tea person?
Oh, okay. No, I'm neither.
Oh,
no.
Really?
I know. No, I've never been a big tea drinker or coffee drinker. I'm my ancestors are sharing, like I'm Pakistani as well, and they're massive tea drinkers, and I've never got into it. To me, it feels like you've just got warm water in your mug. And people,
that's exactly what you have.
I'm the type of person who just naturally, I just pee a lot. And so an extra cup of tea or coffee, I mean, they're diuretics, right? And I'll just be like running the toilet. And I remember before I had kids, before I became a stay-at-home mom, I was a teacher. I used to work in a secondary school, and all my colleagues, they just did not, because teachers are big tea or coffee drinkers. They just didn't understand it. They were like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And it just used to like fully baffle them. And I don't like coffee because I've not ever gotten used to caffeine.
Yeah.
Like, even if a mug at 2 p.m., I could be like, this could keep me up all night. I don't know. It's a wild card. And so I'm just not used to it. And
yeah. So you don't do caffeine at all?
No, I'd like fizzy drinks, which I'm getting much better at cutting down on. But no, I'm not really. No.
I can't understand your life right now.
I know. This really perplexes people about this. My mum and my sister and my dad, they're like huge tea and coffee drinkers, and I just never felt it. I remember the only time I've had coffee in my life seriously have coffee, was when I was a student and I used to have to pull all-nighters. And so the smell of coffee does trigger me. I'll be like, oh my God, that time when I started an essay 5 hours before it was due. Like, that's what I think. So I've never been able to get over those memories. So even when like we're out and, you know, people go to Starbucks and go to Costa and they'll have, you know, lattes or whatever. I just, no, thank you. I just not feeling it. Even there's loads of sugar and syrups in it, I've never had it. I've never understood the appeal, and I just never. Are
you an Erin or a Melody?
100% Melody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? How do you identify?
Erin, if I met Erin in real life, I would be so intimidated. But I think I never even thought of the question, am I Erin or am I Melody? But since you started asking the questions, I'm definitely like, oh yeah, I'm a Melody. I have a friend, one of my closest friends, she is definitely an Erin. And our relationship is quite similar. I'm just like, go over here, let me hug you, all the love. And she's like, oh my God, go away. And it's like, can we just be like behave a bit more? And it's just like the more I learn about Melody, I'm just like, the whole tentacles of love thing. And the only way that I'm like an Erin is that I find bath meals absolutely gross. I think they're disgusting. Every time they have a conversation on the pod about it, I'm like, stop. Have
you seen the picture on the cult where it's somebody that has floated styrofoam plates in the bath, and one has like a hot dog and one has like a like barbecue chips?
I hate it so much. I'm so sorry to whoever posted that. It's just, since I've not been a child, I've never even had a bath. I'm not a bath person. I'm a shower person. I remember when I was pregnant with my son, I had such severe back pain, and my husband was like, I read and people have told me a bath is good for you. And he so sweetly drew up a really nice bath for me. And I went in after 10 minutes. I was like, I hate this. And I actually feel worse. And I had to call him in. I was like, get me out of this fucking bath.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so big. And I've never had a bath again. I've never had a bath 10 years before that. And I didn't have a bath 10 years after that. And honestly, it's just, I don't get baths. I don't get how people can stay in them for so long. I don't get why people stay in them until they're pruny. It's just beyond my comprehension. And eating in a bath, guys, what's wrong with you? I don't get it. I find it so gross.
but we support you and love you, and you do your thing. No problem.
You guys. Yeah.
What is your go-to snack outside of the bath? Because we talked about carbs, but do you have a favorite snack? Like something you hide from your kids so they won't eat it, or something like that?
Anything crunchy. If it's crunchy, I can't help picking at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand. I understand completely. Crunchy textures, crunch. Food textures are amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite trope, like book trope?
I love all of them. It just depends what I'm in the mood for. You know, I'm a huge Kennedy Ryan fan, and what she tends to do in a lot of her books, which she'll
just gut you, won't she? She just will take it right out of you.
Well, yeah. She does not care. She makes some choices as an author, but what she does is a lot. She has like the characters meet when they're young, and then they have to be apart for like 10, 15 years, where they're like pining after each other, and they might cross paths, but they're like with other people, and the timing's just not right. And then when they finally hit, boom! That's the kind of tropes I've been kind of loving. Like lots of mutual pining from across time and distance, and you know.
You're the second person that has chosen mutual pining, by the way. I just want you to know.
Yeah.
Okay. I have one more question for you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
If you could dispense one condiment from your belly button, what would it be?
Okay. So I have to have spicy food. I can't eat non-spicy food. Sure. Chili flakes to everything. And firstly, I would like to say, this question is so out of the world. I absolutely love it. I don't know where it comes from, what it means. And every time you ask it in Ask a Badass, I'm just always floored. Anyway. I'm
so proud.
The weirdest thing that I've ever heard. Can you imagine if in real life someone does start dispensing a condiment from the belly button? Get the fuck away from me.
You go on a first date from like a Match.com.
Oh my God. You're going out to eat and you're like, hang on, this food's missing a little. And you get up and you lift up your top and you just like squat from your belly button. That is some shit that even I think Grace Goodwin would not touch. So it is anything. I was thinking like a spicy sauce. We have a restaurant here called Nando's, which I love. It's like a grilled chicken place, and they have peri-peri sauces.
Oh,
and you can buy them from like the supermarkets as well. And so we always try and grab some. And yeah, I love peri-peri sauce. You can put it on top of anything.
It is so good. It has got so many good flavors because there's like a vinegar part in it, and then there's like it's like a red pepper, right?
I just go for the hot and spice extra hot. Yeah. The 2 extra hot and extra hot. That's what I grab. Yeah.
You are too rich for my blood. I am not a spicy person at all.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know.
I'm over here just putting ketchup on my eggs. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I got.
I do love ketchup. I love ketchup. I've got to admit, I'm not a mayonnaise type person. No. I do love ketchup and just spice. Spice is my thing. I've not come across anyone who's got a higher spice tolerance than me. I can go for it.
Great. Have you ever watched the show Hot Ones?
I have not.
So it's a U.S. show. It's based in Chicago, and they interview celebrities while eating increasingly spicy hot wings. And they talk about all the hot sauces on them. And so the celebrities are getting like super bad reactions to the hot sauce, and they're like suffering, and it's hilarious, but they're still trying to answer the question.
Are they like, it's just like, are they like filthy afterwards? Like their hands like covered in sauces in their mouths and everything?
No, because they only have to take like one bite. Oh. And so they get like, they're not like messy, but they are like sweating. Their eyes are watering. One time, I don't remember who it was, Will Ferrell, I think, was on there, and he was like zoning out. And it's amazing. You should definitely YouTube it. It's a YouTube channel. Like it's all the episodes are on there. They just had Paul Rudd just was on there. Which
I love Paul Rudd.
He is my go-to.
Hey,
just saying.
Look at us. Look at you now.
So I don't know how the meme goes.
I just love him so much.
Well, and he's on there and he does the same thing. Hey, look at us. Look at you and me, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. And do you read in romance novels, especially that character had a twinkle in their eye. You don't really see that in real life, except through a screen. Paul Rudd has a twinkle in his eye.
He does.
I've watched the Ant-Man movie so many times. I love it so much.
Really? I haven't seen it. I really need to. But I don't have like Disney Plus or anything, so I don't really have a good way to like
do you Marvel? Or do you not Marvel?
I don't really see shows or movies. So
Natalie. No, I know. I won't listen to enough Ask a Badasses. This is where we don't have anything in common. I am such a pop culture hound. I watch so many TV shows. I watch so many movies. I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Good. Well, and I don't have anything against it. Like it's I universally across the board do not watch movies. Like it's not anything. Like I've watched Grease 2 probably 50 times. But I will not see a new movie. So it's a personal flaw. Okay.
I can't ever watch a movie again. I think the only movie I regularly watch are the Marvel movies. That's because my son's a huge fan. But was it The Mummy? I will always watch. I stand hard for that movie. But generally, I don't like watching movies again. I'm like, I've seen this. I don't need to.
I already know how it is.
I don't need to watch it again, except to you know pull it apart and be like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
And enjoy the hell out of it.
I do love that. Yeah.
Well, this was so amazing. Thank you for getting up in the middle of the night or staying up or however you did it.
I had to get up. I fully intended to stay up and I fell asleep. Luckily, I had set an alarm.
You are a superhero. I cannot even imagine doing this.
Yeah, so I'm sorry if I come across as loony or crazy. Blame it on the sleep deprivation. Don't blame me.
I'm not going to blame it on anything. I am going to embrace this as who you are in this moment, and I loved it so much. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
You are so good at this. You're such an expert interviewer. I love talking to people, but you are so good.
I just love it. I love, it's people that you have spent time interacting with. online. You know what I mean? I would say that I exist 90% on the internet. Well, I exist 100% for my kids in person, but then with friends, it's like 90% of my friends are on the internet. You know what I mean? So it's like, they are real friends, Scott, but they are internet friends.
Yeah.
But,
yes, Scott.
But yeah,
I got that reference,
yeah, there it is. So it's always really amazing to be able to kind of touch like base with people, you know, and be able to put like a feeling and a conversation, and I just love it.
But
so thank you for doing it.
You're so good at it. You just make everyone sound like your best. I was like, how is she going to do it? But you just did it. It's just like, I feel like we've known each other for ages. We've talked for ages, and it isn't. We just like met for the first time.
We just have a lot in common.
Yeah,
you and I.
Oh, that's great. That really makes me happy.
Well, yeah. I have loved every 1 hour and 7 minutes of it, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Okay.
However we do it, however it happens, on the internet, over a voice chat, whatever we got to do, man. Let's do it.
This is amazing.
At the middle of the night. I'll wake up in the middle of the night for you, maybe. I'll try my best.
I think
I will set an alarm.
I think like, if you're like the outlier, if everyone else on one time zone and you're the other one, you've got to accommodate for everyone else.
Oh, that's what I
think. Yeah.
Well, keep being a badass and love yourself as much as you love heaving bosoms.
Heaving bosoms, yeah.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.